More than 30 years after an inmate walked out of a Bay Area prison, he's finally back behind bars. But his
Is it worth it at this point to put him behind bars again?
landlord claims he wasn't exactly on the run. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dan Ashley. This is
Just let him live the rest of his life after 31 years.
a bizarre case we'll start with here tonight. A man convicted in a massive marijuana growing operation escaped the federal
Yeah, he didn't unalive anyone.
prison in Dublin back in 1994. At some point, he moved back to the very same area where he was first arrested. And just days ago, the U.S. Marshals arrested him in Nevada City. ABC 7 News reporter Tim Johns explains how they tracked him down.
79-year-old Ronald Keith Harvey was arrested Thursday after being on the run for 31 years. Back in
I bet he laughed his ass off on the way to prison after being like, you know what? What was he, 79 years old right now? He was on the run for 31 years. I don't care. I don't think he cares if he's going back to prison. He lived a beautiful 31 years of freedom.
1994, Harvey escaped from the FCI prison in Dublin after he was convicted of running an illegal marijuana farm in the years prior.
He wasn't cultivating a small amount. He was arrested with 600 plus plants and firearms. So it was a pretty large-scale operation that he was running.
Deputy U.S. Marshal Cruz Moya is the person who's been in charge of Harvey's case. He says his team got a new lead earlier this year that ultimately led them to Harvey's location.
It does happen. There are some people that are better than others at absconding justice and just going on the run.
Harvey was arrested in Nevada City, about 60 miles northeast of Sacramento. He had been living there with a woman named Devi Brown since October. Brown, who says she casually dated Harvey about 35 years ago, said she had no idea he had a warrant out for his arrest. In fact, Brown tells us she checked in with the Nevada County Sheriff every month to see if Harvey had an outstanding warrant. She spoke to ABC 7 News by phone after U.S. Marshals
26
showed up at her house
minutes?
to take Harvey into custody.
I was very shocked, of course. And yeah, he had his own room. He's paid rent every month to me.
U.S. Marshals say Harvey still has about 4 years left from his 1990s prison sentence. So what that means is he'll potentially have to serve that time in addition to whatever new sentencing he gets for fleeing from prison and evading capture. Moya says law enforcement is unsure of where Harvey might have been living prior to moving in with Brown. But he tells us he's just happy they've recaptured their man after all these years.
Or they're happy they captured him. I mean, he didn't do anything bad. He was selling plants and he was, arrested with firearms. I think there's more dangerous people, the sheriff, the rangers, whoever, the police need to put their attentions on.